In May of 2016, we went back to Coffman Cove again. The little town where we had made so many memories in years past.
Woo! If I try to release him, I'm probably just gonna lose.
The town looked like it always had, but there were a few updates. The rigging shack had a new eatery called the Bait Box. They'd done a lot of work on the docks and the boat ramp, and there was even a fish cleaning station. We noticed some of the citizens had gussied up their yards. We pulled our trailer, whom we dubbed Tonto, into the Ocean View Park and set up camp. I have to admit that we were surprised at the amount of flowers that May had brought to the cove. Once we got our camp all set up, we decided to take a trip up to the north end of the island. When the road went from paved to gravel, we really started seeing deer. It was late in May, so the does all seemed to have fawns. And all of the does had taught their little ones to drop and flop at the first sign of danger. Unfortunately, that tactic doesn't work too well when you're out in the middle of a gravel road.
Uh-oh, he's going down. Yep.
He's just tired.
Oh.
Little legs can't hold you up very long.
There he goes.
Get him off the road, Mom. The trouble is that cars are not the only thing that uses the roads. Bears use the roads. And there's nothing a bear likes better than a little fawn, and not for friendship.
Here he goes again.
And we saw quite a few bears. Here's a little fawn that dropped in the road and just won't move. I had to get out and move it to a safer place.
He's looking. There's a better spot for you. You're out of the way of cars.
The only movement the little fawn made was a twitchy nose. Mom found the little fawn before the bears did, and they went off into the woods. We got to the end of the island where the folks from Port Protection parked their cars. Some of the cars weren't in first-rate shape. Yes, sir. Fine lot of automobiles here. These are the kind you buy by the pound. There was also kind of a community at the end of the road. Sort of a yacht club area for Port Protection, I assume. That's where all their boats were parked. Then it began to rain. We turned around and headed south, winding up at Neck Lake where some loons had decided to vacation. You don't get to watch them too long before, bloop, they're gone. There were some fishermen getting soaked at Whale Pass, catching a few salmon. Upstream, fly fishermen were working a hole pretty hard, and we watched one tie into a salmon. Too bad he tied into him in the wrong place, the belly. He'll have to turn this one loose. Then we found a hole that had some feathered fishermen in it. We stopped at Sarkar Rapids for what was an apparent eagle convention.
Pretty shot. That is so beautiful, isn't it?
I don't know what they're doing, like they're cleaning their toenails.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Somebody said, get down to the river. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Man, there was a lot of eagles there. We watched them for quite a while, then realized that some of them were up in the trees watching us. Then it really started raining. The further we drove, the more it looked like it was raining everywhere, so we wondered, where in the world could we go where it was dry? Heck, the obvious answer was to just crawl in a hole in the ground. So that's what we did. El Capitan Cave. A Forest Service guide took us into the bowels of the earth.
But yeah, this is where we found lots of live beetles. So we think the cave is definitely breathing in this area. The air isn't really stale and stagnant. It's kind of crisp and fresh. Fish or anything, they wouldn't be able to live in here. But just this water that's probably has a pretty high pH right now. lots of minerals in it, so it'd be good for you in that respect, but not so good in that it's not filtered that well. So a lot of times people in cavers will find like piles of animal bones at the bottoms of these.
This looks like a waterfall in stone or something.
Well, flowstone, it's appropriately named.
It's named what?
Flowstone.
Flowstone, F-L-O-W.
Ah. That's pretty.
It is.
This is the flowstone room because of all the flowstone formations. And this is basically the redeposited minerals from the limestone that have dripped down and developed over many, many years. This flowstone is really amazing because it can give us lots of clues as to what's been happening in the past, like I said, many, many years. I don't want to say how many because I want you guys to guess how many layers this might represent. So flowstone, as I said, it deposits in layers, takes a long time, and the layers are climatic. So they show changes in climate over time. They're not annual like the rings of a tree or a sheep horn or things like that. This would be a climatic. It does represent about 100,000 years, that piece. In the cave. It's small but mighty, and we call it the eternal drip. So you can see it, there's one single drip here, and it's kind of splashing into this little pool, and it makes all this stone really wet as well. And we know it's been dripping for a long time, because if you walk up close here and look down in, which you all should do, because it's beautiful, you can see that this single drip has eroded away a little cup formation. And it's polished the flowstone just like that, just like our geologists polished that piece of flowstone back in that room. Only this was done by water.
Wow.
We felt like coal miners at quitting time. It had been a nasty day, so we decided to hole up and play some Scrabble. The next day, we got a lucky break while visiting the post office. We ran smack into a chap named Dave Rockman. What a guy, an ardent fisherman. He owns the Bear's Den Lodge with the best view in Coffman Cove, and he was our neighbor since his lodge overlooks the RV park where we stayed. Dave offers self-guided fishing from his lodge and serves sumptuous meals that he prepares daily. But in his spare time, he loves to fish and invited me out to try a little halibut fishing. We launched his boat and headed for Snow Pass, about 12 miles away.
Go knock 'em dead! Woohoo! They don't hear me at all.
The scenery was spectacular, and in about a half an hour we made our way to Snow Pass. And by golly, it wasn't long till Dave found a fish. So, you got a fish on. What is it?
All right, well, it's got to be a big rockfish or one hell of a halibut.
Yeah, I don't think it's a rockfish. I
don't think so either.
That's Big Daddy.
I don't have rockfish pull out 40 feet of line.
Okay, well, he's taking it easy on you now.
Thank goodness. Could be surprised. It could be a 30-pound halibut.
Well, that'd be fine, too.
Yeah. Are we drifting? Or is he taking it?
No, he's taking it.
He's definitely taking it.
Okay.
Harpoon.
Yeah, I'm pulling it out.
It's a big halibut. He swallowed my hook.
Okay, we'll get him up here where I can run a gaff in his head, and then I don't know what we're going to do.
There you go. Easy, easy.
Well, he's still harpooned.
I know. It's a lot easier with a hook on. Okay. Okay, gaff him now. Gaff him. You got him?
I think so.
Okay. Need some help. Hold it. Just hold the gaff. Hold the gaff up. So there we go. This is my lucky
I'll
spot.
say 65. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you got
big.
to measure him with?
Dave got that halibut, and it turned out only to be the first of many we'd catch over the summer. We fished together dozens of times after that first adventure. I even managed to catch a fish or two myself, and the best thing was that Darcy often went along with us as cameraman. Sometimes halibut fishing is a lot of sitting and waiting and hoping for that telltale the bite of a big slab-sided halibut. Then the fight is on.
Not a halibut.
You sure?
No, but I hope we get to see him because he's putting up a good scrap.
Huh? You might have a small halibut, or you might have one of those. We caught a sole here or something last week. Turbot was a sole we caught.
This is getting bigger as I bring him up, but it's not fighting like a halibut.
Boy, you got something.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
You need the harpoon, or not the harpoon, but the gaff.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Okay.
Put the rod down. Well, we may have had our chance for a while. Everybody's going to sit down now.
It's a bigger halibut than you think.
Yeah.
Sweet, honey. Neat.
Yeah.
Are you filming my hunt?
I am.
When I saw the color, I went, "What?" First, I thought it was a shark. And I looked, and it's a halibut.
Man.
Yeah, don't let up, because that hook is. Fortunately, you got one of the big hooks. That's good.
I don't want him running that hook into me.
There we go. Good
Probably
job.
30 pounds or so.
Yeah, he's a 30-pounder. When you lift him, you don't realize how big he is. He's
He
heavy.
got bigger when I left him.
Yeah, I noticed that. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
A
Nice
little fish.
job.
Some days we never knew what was in store when we stepped out of Old Tonto. Sometimes you just had to hang on and see what happened.
You gonna go to sleep up there, Baldy?
Profiling.
Come on, let's see some scowling at the fish or leering at the seals or something. Let's see something majestic from up on high. He's just gonna give us his proud profile.
Well, there's a good profile. There's good stuff.
I think eagles are neat, but crows don't exactly think the same way. Watch him pester this poor guy. Now, years ago, Darcy filmed me talking with the crows. And I wondered if there were still some crows in the neighborhood that
Right.
remembered me, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Only on Coffman Cove.
And then there was Grace, or Gracie as we called her. That's pretty good. Pounding that cracker down, aren't you? Now, Gracie lived with her mom and dad in Ocean View RV Park, and she came to visit us quite often in our trailer. And her little, not really, buddy Chewbacca. Okay. As long as you don't get any cookie on you, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel kind of sorry for your dad right now. Tonight. Roxy. Okay. And what kinds of stuff do you do at your grandparents' place when you're in Oregon?
I play with your toys.
You play with toys?
And I borrowed one.
You borrowed one. Do you still have it?
Yeah, but I kind of lost it.
Oh, okay. So maybe you don't have it?
No, but I'm going to find it.
Okay.
It's at my old house.
Okay. All right.
We also had some friends that stopped by to see us out in the ocean. Dolphins, the welcome wagons of the wet world.
Fortunately, I have enough horseradish. On that one, one more on, round one.
I'm not in the way, am I?
We were having a whale of a time this summer, pun intended. Or maybe you could say, killer whale of a time. Just bad.
Oh, good one.
I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Bye.
It's sunny. I need my sunglasses.
We've been watching a whole lot of the Beverly Hillbillies. And at the end, they're
And
going.
it reminds us so much of us.
And Granny's going. Come on back next week. This locality. Have a heaping helping of your hospitality.